Tubers, tubettes in the ever-widening circle of crazy people. Welcome back to the little channel. And first thing I've got to say is Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone.
And so this is going to be my first video on my channel for 2023. So of course I'm going to talk about sex. And I was talking this over with May during the last week or so. We were talking about it. And I started to do some investigating from the man buns with the skinny jeans over in Googleville. I started Googling various things about sex as you get older. The title of this video is going to be called something like Sex After 60 or Over the Age of 60. And my perception of that was wrong once I started Googling information. And once I started reading the information, I had to agree with it. And they had a great analogy somewhere on the many, many different topics that I read. It wasn't just Google, it was YouTube. I was watching female vloggers talk about this topic. And the way it was put is that sex after the age of 60 is not like a carton of milk. It doesn't expire. It's more like wine that gets better with time. And I have to concur with that 100%. I can look you in the blues and I can tell you that in my 4-year relationship with this young lady right here, our bedroom time together, if you will, has been the best in my world and in my life ever. Her and I share a lot of the same thoughts, I suppose, the same mindset. We have the same type of desires. We tend to agree with each other. We've come to grow together, and we both deeply care for one another. And I think that plays a major role in it. However, there are instances when you do get older, father time is going to start taking its toll on many things. Take toll on gravity is going to work on your face and make it have all these sags and wrinkles like I've got. It's going to weaken your muscle tone. Your eyes are not going to be as sharp. And another side effect of aging is the lowering of libido. So what really kind of caught my attention was, and inspired me to actually go ahead and pull the trigger and do this video, was about 10 days ago, I was having coffee, and there was a group of guys. There was 6 of us total. I was one of 6, so 5 other guys were there. And to be honest with you, in all the conversations that I've had with expats and friends that are out here, the topic of bedroom antics, if you want to call it that, has never gone in that direction. In other words, none of us have ever shared any intimate details about our sex life with our partners. It's never gone to the locker room, if you will. Now with the ladies, it's a totally different dynamic, because when they get together, I can promise you, I don't understand the language, but I know exactly what they're talking about. Because of the hand motions and the laughing or the pointing and the signals they're making with their hands. And you ladies talk about that when you get together. Okay, so I asked May to explain it, and then the way that she put it, I said, you better let me handle that. Because some of the expressions she used, I didn't think we'd get past the censors. But anyway, I was talking with these guys at Ground Zero. And one guy kind of shocked me because, like I said, the topic never comes up. But we had been to Thailand 2 months ago, did full medical exams, and I did get my testosterone levels checked. And a guy that we were having coffee with, he said, hey, Paul, he said, when you were in Thailand, did you get your testosterone checked? And I said, yeah. And he says, what did they find? And I said, well, I'm normal for my age, but I'm actually low, because it ranges from 300 to 800 or 850, one of the two. And I'm a 333, so that means I'm on the lower end of testosterone. for my age group. Well, imagine what it would be if I was 30 years younger. And he said, so did you get testosterone replacement therapy while you were there? I said, I sure did. And everybody leaned forward. Every single guy, I had their rapt attention. They wanted to hear about this. And in the back of my mind, I said, see, this is something that guys just don't like to talk about. And if they do have a problem, they don't want to admit it. And I get it. It's something that, as a man, that's our virility, that's part of our masculinity. It's something that we carry with us. We're prideful people. We're humans. We don't want people to think less of us. But at the end of the day, it's just going to happen. So when I got the TRT shot in Phuket, the next day it had a direct effect on my libido. It was raised. And there's also the advent of Viagra.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling you guys to go out and start injecting TRT or to go buy Viagra without consulting a doctor. I'm no doctor. What I'm telling you is that I saw a doctor and I asked these questions and they told me absolutely positively, rock on. It's not going to do you any harm. It will do you good. How often can you take a TRT shot? Once a week. So I've arranged to have a TRT shot once a week out here. I also have Viagra. So there you go, full disclosure. And Baby May and I feel are more intimate than I was when I was 30 or 40 or in my 50s. So the physical side of it has, what was the word I was looking for earlier? It has a treatment, okay? It doesn't have a cure, but there is a treatment if guys are suffering from a low libido. Now, what causes that? Well, of course, aging itself, but there are some things that I've learned that you can do to naturally raise your libido. One thing, the number one killer of the libido is antidepressants. And unfortunately, there's a number of guys over here that have mental conditions from the war. I salute them. PTSD issues, things such as that. They have to take these medications. I'm not saying they individually are affected by it. I'm telling you what the research told me is that if you take antidepressants, that will have a big effect, on your libido. I can testify to that because in 1998, when I was in my 50s, I guess, I had to take Lexapro for 3 weeks. I'd had surgery in 98. I'm sorry, I was sick in 98 with blown discs in my neck. In 2000, I had the surgery to correct it. But from 98 to 2000, I was taking some very strong pain medications. And once I had the surgery, I cold turkeyed off the pain meds. I didn't want them anymore. And one of the effects of that was it gave me depression. There wasn't an ounce of serotonin left in my brain once I detoxed off that, or while I was detoxing off of that. Took well over 2 months to get most of it out of my system. And everything was dark. Now let me clarify. I wasn't feeling suicidal. I was just feeling nothing. I just felt darkness. I thought, if this is a hell, this is it. This is what hell must be like, because I don't care about anything. And so my friends got concerned, and they said they could tell I wasn't eating. They were coming by to visit. I still wasn't working. I was home recovering from the surgery and from this detox thing. And they could tell by the tone of my voice that there was a problem. And so they got involved. God bless them. Laney and Scott. Big shout out to those two guys back in America, my co-workers at the time. They called my doctor for me on my behalf and got me down, and he gave me a prescription for a drug called Lexapro. And lo and behold, a week into taking Lexapro, things got brighter for me. Okay, this is in the year 2000 now. This is 23 years ago. So as things got brighter, my mental condition improved. 2 weeks in, I really felt much, much better. I was like 80%. I think I went for another week, and that was the end of the Lexapro treatment. That's what I needed, 21 days. And I was back to myself. You know, outlook was good, feeling good, happy, cheerful, but my libido was dead. Okay, it was cooked. It was, I would see a pretty girl and not think anything of it. I would see something racy on TV, didn't get my attention. And that lasted for a couple of 3 months, and eventually all that returned. Again, it was more of a normalcy. So that's just an example. I want to be able to relate to those that are in the position and give you my empathy and give you my love for those guys that, you know, serve their country, and now they're in this condition where they have to take these medications. I'm not saying it's causing them to be impotent or to lose their libido. I'm just saying that's what the information I gleaned said. Number 2, alcohol consumption. So I don't want to use the words. I want to keep this as G-rated or PG-13 as possible. But the equipment's not working when you're dead drunk. And if you're drinking excessively every day, that's probably going to be the result. So there's the drug use, there's the drinking, and number 3, our good old friend, obesity. A year ago, last year, December, I started a diet, and I ended up losing 30 pounds, and I'm happy to say that I've maintained the weight loss. I haven't gained anything over that. I still weigh 160. Last year at this time I weighed 190. So that has also had an effect on my well-being as far as us as a couple in the bedroom.
Yeah.
He was extremely effective in 24 hours. I'm not saying that you have to do it. I would make sure that you talk to a doctor, get some readings, make sure that it's administered properly, and you can make all the comments that you want. I never filter my comments on these kind of things, or any of them for that matter. But my question was, and I learned also via Google, was that 60, 70, and 80, you can have a normal sex life. And I think I use the analogy, it's not a carton of milk that spoils with time, it's more like a wine that gets better with age. And that's exactly what I've experienced. I reflect back on when I was in my 30s and my 40s, and I was working like a crazy person, and I would come home and I was just too tired. The wife, she was fighting with the kids all day and doing her thing and running around and taking care of the house and working part-time and this, that, and the other. And she was tired. And there's always that 6-month honeymoon period when people first meet. We're all familiar with that, when you just can't keep your hands off of each other and you think everything he or does or she does is cute and funny and all that. Well, it doesn't take long for that to wear off. And I also learned that in America, I can't speak for the Philippines or any other country, 1 out of 4 marriages is sexless. And they said primarily it's due to stress, financial problems, work, tired, the kids get in the way, the kids wear you out, you're focused in a different way, and again, the physical attraction just isn't there. But when all those guys at that little coffee clutch leaned forward, it signaled to me that this is something that probably should be spoken about. I'm sure I've left out a lot of things, but my last little tidbit here is it fair for B to be with exclusively someone that's much younger than me? What is she going to do? I asked her, I said, we right now, we have a normal sex life? And she said, yeah. And we find it mutually satisfactory. And she agreed with me. And I asked her a very poignant question. I said, what if in 5 years that goes away? What if I can't do that? And she said, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I love you, and I
Yeah.
want to be with you. And while it's fun and it's great and it's something that she's into, I don't know how else to put it, it wouldn't be a deal breaker. Especially, but she's older.
Yeah.
You know, she's 37. She's not 17.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how the guys, I'm not judging here, but I don't know how the guys that are my age, 68, and are hooking up with 21 and 22-year-olds, how they're going to deal with that and what they expect the woman to do. Is that really fair, or is that super selfish? And the last thing I want to do to someone that I care deeply for is deprive them of anything. And so I asked her, because she knows, like I said earlier, she has these conversations where they talk about stuff that guys would make us blush. Believe me, I don't know what the words are, but I know what the topic is. And they're, you know, and they dispel a lot of information to one another. And so I asked her, she said, yeah, one woman has a boyfriend and he's loy loy, which means it doesn't work. And I said, so what does she do? Now, I would tell you what May said, but it would have to be bleeped out. So the answer is, that woman's answer was to just take care of it herself and continue on the relationship with her husband. So I think that this video actually leads to more questions than answers. I wanted to bring up the topic because I'm curious as to what you guys think. Is it fair for me to be with her? According to her, she's cool with it. We don't have kids. We've got ta-da.
Ta-da.
So she's keeping us busy. and there are guys out there that if you're suffering from it, there may be absolutely positively no physical problem with you whatsoever. I would encourage you to get yourself checked out like we did. We went to Thailand to do it. That doesn't mean you do. You can get checked out in any city that you're living in and see where you are, and then talk to your physician. But there's also a lot going on between the ears. A lot of malfunctions, if you will, are mental or emotional. And you may want to get with a physician or a therapist about that if it's affecting you. Again, just in my thoughts, not my advice, just something that I've been reading and been pondering about. And I wanted to talk about this because I've never seen it approached before on YouTube. And I just thought it was time to take the elephant in the room and bring it out and share it. All right, kids. Well, I know May didn't say too much.
Yeah.
That's because I clamped
My
her on it,
English.
because not her English, it was the words that she was using. And so, anyway, Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye guys.